Hello, I'm Jamie, and welcome to Sci-Fi Vision. AJ, Karen, hello, guys.
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi. So tonight we are going to be talking about the sixth episode of Paradise. So some people seem to, I think, be confused when we do it. We're technically on last week's episode of Paradise since the new one's tonight. So we always do the previous episode. So if you haven't seen this week's that was on tonight, you can still listen to us now and not be spoiled. And then we're going to do have both of you seen the first three episodes of Reacher? At least that was the plan. Have you both seen it?
I don't
all?
watch Reacher.
Oh, you're not watching it. Okay. I think Karen had said maybe you'd watch it. I think we ended up talking and didn't get past that. But anyway, me and Karen then will talk about Reacher when we're done with it. So please, if you haven't, please take a minute to like and subscribe to the channel. And also make sure I'm putting the link here in the chat now. Make sure that you join our Discord for all our updates and to join all of our watch parties that we have each week. Saturday nights is the Severance show with me and Karen. And then Sunday nights is Yellow Jackets with me and Scarlett. And of course, Tuesdays is the show you're listening to right now. And then also make sure you guys all tune in Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, because we are going to have Mark Geller on, who plays Kier on Severance, so we can get some fun questions in there. And who knows what he'll be able to answer, but maybe we can get some answers. It'll be fun. So please do tune into that. And you can also send questions ahead of time in Discord or on X if you can't be there, but we'd appreciate if you were. All right, guys. Whoops.
Well,
I'm busy pinning this. So, Paradise. What did you guys think of this one? This one was when it really starts going crazy, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been a bad episode.
There hasn't.
This was a fun episode, though.
I was going to say the same thing. It was a lot of fun. This was I had a lot of fun watching this episode. Let me stop.
Especially with all the Die Hard references.
Yeah. Finally, all the President's 80s nostalgia begins to pay off for us viewers with all the Die Hard references. And I guess, so we didn't see it, but clearly at some point Xavier took the President's advice and watched that movie because he says he'd never seen it, right?
Yeah.
I thought this was great.
I would have had the same reaction as Cal. You've never seen it?
Xavier's a little, he's a bookish sort, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I feel like there are tons of movies that I haven't seen, and you guys are like, "What? You haven't seen what?"
I was gonna say, usually it's me that hasn't.
I was just gonna say, usually that's you and me saying it to Jamie.
Well, yeah, Jamie hasn't seen any movie from before like 1977.
Oh, that's an exaggeration, big time.
It is. I said 1977 because we were so floored you had never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought you said 1997. That's what I was gonna say.
No.
Like, that's really a
77.
No, I
haven't seen a lot of movies before that. You are correct, but I've seen a couple. But I'm more of a TV person. If you ask me about a TV show, I've probably seen it.
You've seen it, yeah.
But movies
so yeah, I thought this was good, and I thought it's raising some questions that like I hadn't been like. There are some unexpected twists. There's some questions that created twists for me, and ideas, and I really enjoyed. I just finished watching it. I enjoyed it, and my friend who had not been watching it, I advised my friend to watch it, and now she got hooked, and she watched like 7 episodes in 2 days. And she was saying to me, "Have you seen episode 6? Have you seen episode 6? Oh my god! Minute 37. You have to tune in at minute 37," which is exactly when Xavier says "yippee-ki-yay." Yeah, so it's been fun to have more people starting to watch it and getting more into it, you know?
Yeah, and I don't know if we actually commented on this on the show, but don't forget, it has been officially renewed for season 2. So yay!
Yes.
That's
right.
right.
We have that to look forward to.
That's
so
right.
People who haven't seen it, you have time to catch up, and it's definitely worth it. I think this is a really good show, and I think I like that it has something for everybody, I feel like, because it does have sci-fi elements, but yet it's clearly not really sci-fi, but it's still, yeah, it's got a lot of everything.
It's somebody the other day, maybe one of you guys, described it as dystopian. It's not sci-fi, but it's dystopian.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a good explanation of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put on my glasses so I can see these photographs while we jump on into it.
All right. Yeah, I did add them at the last second while AJ was there, like literally.
So in this episode, the first thing we do in this episode, we meet Mom. We meet Xavier's wife, who I instantly liked. I really hope she is alive out there somewhere. She was cool. I liked her a lot.
Yeah, I don't think we have a picture of her. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that.
I couldn't get a picture of her.
That scene was great. In the principal's office, Presley did something, and I loved her reactions to everything. And Xavier was like, "Thank you very much."
Yeah, no, it was great. But the thing is even what, it was great. But even what Presley did, her idea was not wrong and was funny. But like
I've actually
make a scene.
I've actually heard of that exercise being done in schools before. I think maybe in college. I've heard of that kind of thing where you distribute the food and then you redistribute the food. Yeah, I mean, I think one reason why we instantly like Xavier's wife, whose name I can't remember, but I can't ever remember anybody's name, was that she like just had her kids back, right? And was like not going to let these like what appears to maybe have been like the rich, the rich family, rich white people, like, get on her daughter for, I mean, they're like, he ate so much cake, he was sick, and like,
it's like, well, maybe he shouldn't have eaten the cake.
Well, and people are making fun of him, and he doesn't want to go to school. And she says, "Is her name Carol?" She says, "Well, put him in the car and make him." She's not like they're treating their son like this precious, fragile little. I mean, I get it, they're his parents, but
I don't know why, but I think it's funny that the kid that they're complaining about is the one that she gave all the food to. Like, for whatever reason, I could see the parents complaining of the one she took it away from. She wouldn't let him have any cake. And it's actually the opposite that they bitched about, which I don't know. I find funny.
Yeah, I guess because the other kids were chanting "eat it" and made him eat it, right? Like, and also like that exercise is a lesson about like one country unfairly consuming more resources, right? So I guess it was like conferring some, I don't know.
Isn't it though also a little bit of like an idea of this show though, just a tiny bit, like this group of people is the one consuming all the resources now and kicking everybody else out? I mean, that's essentially what happened, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this a little bit last week that I felt like Sinatra wasn't saying like they can't come in here and use our resources. She was like, "Oh, everybody will want to go out, and they can't go out; they'll die." But I mean, certainly that would be an issue. Certainly, yeah. I mean, she didn't articulate it in like a perfect sentence last week, but yeah, they put enough resources in there for 25,000 people, not for untold people. Yeah. I get that argument about resources, but
well, I mean, for Sinatra, it's not just the resources; she has a certain image, and vision of this place, and bringing in outsiders would ruin that image.
Right. Like, couldn't everybody suffer a little bit so that more humans could survive? Yes. Right. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, like no, to a vote or something.
Then you'd have homeless people.
Yeah. I'd rather
be unsheltered. Unsheltered.
They have like a handful of houses and not that it's a happy place there, but I mean, I'm sure that like these houses could take in other residents.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like two families. They have one house that's vacant now.
That's also
Billy doesn't live there anymore.
Well, yeah, right. And like Xavier's next door neighbor appears to be a single guy. Like he could, like definitely people could fit, right? And like people could
do is add some mattresses or something, and
Well, you can sleep outdoors in paradise. It doesn't rain. It doesn't snow. It doesn't get cold. It doesn't get hot, right? It's like a
perfect. They don't
that ruins. But that ruins Sinatra's perfect illusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what it's really about. The perfect illusion is really what she's trying to protect, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not really trying to. Yeah. So yeah, she's the worst. So I know we're getting into more detail, but every week I hate Sinatra more, and this week I really hated her a lot.
Yeah.
I began to hate other people also this week. So.
Yeah, I don't really hate her any more or less. It's just kind of, I just hate her.
I was going to say, I know a lot of Justin always has some great comments. I know that a lot of these are more specific to later in the episode, but I think this one we can wait, which one? I want to click on the right one. I think that we can kind of talk about now. Do we think that this could potentially be like a silo type thing? I mean, could there be other bunkers that we're unaware of?
I thought about that at the end of the episode when Sinatra tells Xavier that his wife is alive. She could just be saying what he wants, something to keep him from killing her. Not that I think Xavier was going to kill her, or there could be more. I think there maybe not to the extent of Paradise, but there could be other bunkers around the country.
Yeah.
So I would have, like a week ago, if I'd watched this, I would have said she's lying. But now with the show being renewed, I feel like could she not be lying? Could the wife be alive? Because that would be an extended storyline. Like the renewal kind of changes how I might feel about Sinatra saying that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I almost feel like she either has to be alive or there's going to be a season of him outside or trying to go outside searching for her, just because that's such a huge plot point.
It'd be really cool though if there is another, other bunkers and stuff. I think it'd be kind of cool if season 2 were to open up first couple episodes with his wife, before we even get back to Paradise. I think that could be an interesting idea.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah, so I have a lot of questions about this bunker business. And I have a lot of questions about this even being... So, did you see the promo for next week?
I never see the promo.
I know you never see the promo.
I was going to say, I'm not sure what was in the promo, but I've seen the next one, so...
Well, I mean, so... Jumping around here, since we're talking about the wife in Atlanta, God, I got to look up her name. Could there be another Paradise that is full of a certain type of people? Maybe. I mean, so I'm confused about it. So Presley says she found evidence on the tablet that 2 thermonuclear blasts hit Atlanta, right? Now, right. I thought this was about a climate disaster, and they were warned about a climate disaster, not nuclear war. So that's a question in my head. How did a nuclear blast happen? Or is that not true? What's on the tablet? Is that, or did Presley misunderstand or something? But well, and where this is taking me is that certainly there could be other kinds of bunkers like around, but like preppers have bunkers that don't fit that many people, but fit people.
Oh, right? I never even thought about that. There should be some of those, like no matter what. I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah,
that's like,
and if there was a coming climate disaster, like wouldn't people, like that's a slow onset disaster, like wouldn't people see that coming and then start prepping and be creating other places to go live that maybe aren't as nice? Like, couldn't there be pockets of people all over the place if it was a climate's on slow onset?
I agree, but I kind of feel like, and maybe I'm wrong and you guys feel differently, but I feel like the way they have set this up, that it seems to me that it's saying that nobody really expected it except for like those people that like that guy that was trying to convince people. Like nobody really knew it was going to be this fast, I guess. That's how I took it. Again, that's more how I took it. I don't know if that was how it was meant or not, but I think that probably, I don't know, everybody wasn't working on it. You know what I mean? Like I would think no matter what, since you said that, I hadn't thought of, there would have to be some groups of preppers or like the people, you know, the ones you normally get that are already ready now for something like this to happen. But like for like big corporations, you know, on this scale, this kind of thing, I don't know, but I do think that would be an interesting twist if there was other bunkers, other paradises, other domes, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Well, I think to answer two parts of this, I think the problem is like when that the scientist guy was like, "Hey, we're all screwed, you know, we're gonna have all these natural disasters and nobody's listening." And I think it continued to be that. I think a select handful of people listened, but the general public probably was like, "Yeah, whatever, it's just more fake news," you know, which is why a lot of people probably caught off guard. As far as the nuclear blasts, though, I feel like it could be a situation of, hey, we're all the rich white people. We got 25,000 spots, and other countries are like, well, we want a spot, you know, like, and just like, hey, we're gonna kill everybody, and we'll take their mountain. Could be, you know, some scenario of some sort in that way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it definitely changes the idea of this. Could the surface be worse than we think? I mean, if they set off a nuclear bomb, or if they intend to, or something, like it could not be.
Maybe it's like Walking Dead, where the nuclear bomb only hit like a 1 square mile area, and like,
I really hope if
totally
the nuclear bomb explodes, it's different. Let's just go with that.
Well, I was, you know, I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday. I had a conversation with someone about how the next war in the future, war is going to be fought over water, and like the next big world war is going to be over water, we were saying. And like maybe it's something like that scenario where, you know, there's a war over water someplace else and somehow a nuclear weapon is launched. Or, you know, it could be something like, so, you know, Presley's class experiment could be foreshadowing how Presley was like, well, everybody have a piece of cake. Now here's how food insecurity works. Like, you know, these countries don't get any cake, and these countries only get a little cake, and United States, you get all the cake. Like,
yeah, maybe they're going to start
could the climate disaster be someone somewhere is blaming the United States for sucking resource? They always say like we create all the greenhouse gas and all people around the world are suffering for it, right? Like, could it be some sort of rogue nuclear weapon because the U.S. caused it? I'm not saying it makes sense to destroy the world because the world is dying, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know
exactly. Is it possible though that like just the people in paradise could start fighting for some reason over it though too? Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm thinking of like things that happen when, you know, people panic. Do they have it for sure locked down so like they can't steal food, can't become unfair in there? Because I mean, right now it's like people go to the grocery store and they take what they want. You know what I mean? But what's to stop people from hoarding and fighting? And
yeah, you know what's supposed to stop them? All those guns that Sinatra thought she had stashed.
Well, but nobody knows. Yeah,
right?
You're right. But I'm just saying, like, the general population doesn't know that there are guns. So
yeah, but if there was, I'm saying if there was an outbreak of lawlessness, she had weapons to arm her force with.
That's true.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry I interrupted you, but I was.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just meant like there's nothing to stop. I kind of feel like I'm surprised, I guess, that they never show any force, because I feel like in the real world there would be people like that, even though they pick 25,000 people that are supposed to be the 25,000 perfect good people who aren't going to cause problems. I feel like at some point there's going to be that person that's going to be like, this isn't fair, I want more than my share.
Well, that's happening now.
No, well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, they don't have, like, yes, they have the guns, but nobody knows it. They haven't shown force. They haven't shown, hey, you got to listen to us because XYZ. And I just wonder if sometimes if maybe that's a little bit of a mistake, and maybe I'm granted it doesn't come up in this story. I'm just saying, like, I'm wondering if it was real if that would be a mistake to not show that you have control to the people. Does that make sense?
I mean, they have maybe some type of police force. Like cops in London don't carry guns, right? Like only a very few cops have guns in London, or they get them out for certain situations. But a beat cop walking the street in a lot of places doesn't carry a gun.
Yeah,
like
Australia,
a lot of societies. Australia
I guess
too,
that's true. We're used to television where everybody and their cousin has guns.
Right.
Not television. We're used to the United States where everybody and their cousin.
Well, that's also a good point. That's true.
You know what though? I mean, given the society that we're talking about here, I mean, for the most part, I mean, general public as the masses as a whole, I mean, we hear about awful shit all the time and everything, but the general public, as a whole, nobody wants to fight each other. Nobody's looking to cause trouble or and it's like in paradise, nobody's wanting for anything, I mean, everything is equally distributed, you can go and shop for what you want because not everybody has the same taste, but the way they have things set up, they're not going to run out of certain things. You know what I mean?
It's not even clear to me if they have money or if everything is just free.
No, everything's on their
wristband.
Like they go to the store, they scan the groceries and they scan their wristband.
And they take what they want, I guess. But I mean, it would be. I just think of the fact that like it would be nice in an ideal world if we could have that here, but you can't. I mean, that's why communism doesn't work. You know what I mean? Like, would it last forever? I just don't.
Listen.
I mean, that's not why.
It's not really that.
Until somebody invents,
You're right. Overall, average person, people are good, I think, and would be happy with, hey, we don't got to work. We get food. We get free place to live. We're not dying. We could be. So, yeah, I mean, would it? I don't know. I'm just.
I mean, I think everybody works. Everybody works. People have jobs to maintain this society, right?
Well, yeah.
Like the guy who works as a bartender. He got in because his wife is a genius scientist, right?
Right.
And
he lucked out, and it worked out for him because he was a bartender. They needed a bartender.
But they work like for the good of society, not for like the rat race, right?
Right.
That's what you mean, Jamie. I think,
well,
right?
I mean,
I'm sure more. It's more nice, I guess. It's not as awful jobs as people have. A lot of people.
Okay,
have.
like I mean, the best thing to compare it to is Star Trek. I mean, in Star Trek, everybody works on merit.
Yeah.
You anybody can do anything they want to do. If you want to be an artist, you can be an artist. You just have to give. As long as you're a contributing member of society, you can do whatever you want because replicators, there will never be hunger again. There's no money anymore because anybody can have whatever they want at any given time because of the invention of replicators.
Yeah, Star Trek is like, so that's interesting. Star Trek is like post-war, post-poverty, post-conflict. And that's kind of what Sinatra, that's kind of what her perfect little world is, right? Except she needs a secret stash of 1 million guns in order to protect it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Jamie, now you've got me thinking, these people are only 3 years removed from the annihilation of civilization, and they all remember. I think, Jamie, I would like as you get years on from it and forget about it, and as the next generation is raised never knowing anything different, like that's where you might start to have problems, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know that everybody, there's always going to be those people that aren't satisfied with being equal, with being fair, is all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, in a society, you're right. What AJ said is correct, that like overall, I think most people would be happy to be alive. They'd be happy to have food and that, but there's always going to be those outliers that aren't, which is why you have good drama on television too. But I'm just saying,
Jamie, not for nothing. You're not wrong. Those are all those old white people sitting in the office with Sinatra crying.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
You're right. Boy, lately our shows are getting very heavy. Tonight we got all this. Last Saturday we were talking about consent for like 10 straight minutes.
Yeah, I know, right? So let's see. So what about, we have the what's his name? I forget his name. Carl, I think. I want to say. His name Carl?
Who's Carl?
Maybe that's not his name. I don't know why I'm thinking that's his name. I gave him a name. The guy with the dog. What's his name?
Yes, that is Carl.
The next door neighbor.
So Carl is helping him, and I gotta say, I still, when I watched this, is the whole time, like, they better not hurt that dog. They better not hurt that dog. That's all I'm thinking most of it. But so he's putting this up in the sky and somehow doing a very good job of nobody being smart enough to be able to take it down, which I think is awesome.
Well, he locked it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like, I guess Xavier's plan is the best way to say it. Like, I really like how instead of trying to just take her down, he's trying to get everybody questioning it, so people will want to take her down. I like how it's going with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's twofold, because at its core, it's a distraction, because he knows the protocol. He knows the protocol, and he knows what the upper management is going to do before they do it. He knows that there's a protocol. He knows they're all going to go to one location, which is what he was trying to do. He was trying to get them all in one place,
so he can trap them.
Yeah.
And
then stupid Gabriella figured,
Oh my god, she's my new most hated person.
Now, you know what though? At first I was a little disappointed that she didn't join Xavier in everything, but then as we got towards the end of the episode, I realized, you know what? She's actually in the perfect position, because she can kind of mediate, because I feel like Xavier and Sinatra, left to their own devices, wouldn't accomplish anything. So I feel like she's kind of in a good spot, because she can definitely see both sides of it.
Oh no, she's my new number one suspect for being the killer.
Really?
Huh. I don't know about being the killer, but I do feel like she kind of sees both their points of view a little bit. I don't know if
Sinatra. Well, you can hear me out a little later, but Sinatra in this scene, Sinatra's and I's doing it, and she says, "I probably would have killed him if he kept digging in where he was digging, but I didn't kill him." And I don't think she was lying. I think
I don't think she was lying either.
Wait, killing? She would have killed who? Sorry,
Cal. She says she didn't kill Cal.
Yeah, I don't think she did either. Sorry, you mixed me up what you were saying.
I said that last week.
I mean, I don't think she was. I suspected her. She was my number one suspect right up until she denied it here, and I really believed her. I don't think she's lying.
Yeah, because I feel like she has no reason to lie to him. She's like, yeah, I killed these people, but not this one. Like, it doesn't. I agree though with the one thing we were talking about, Sinatra, like that. Sinatra's taking shit. I would agree with that.
So yeah, I got Gabriella moved up to the number one spot now. So we can talk about that now or later, but I think she has a motive. I think she is as deeply invested in the success of this place as Sinatra, and she has a different personality and a different approach, but she's very, very invested, and I think she thought Cal was going to blow it, and he had to go.
So you think she knows about the scientist being killed outside?
I don't
think she does.
You know what? You might have me there, because she said to Sinatra, she's like, "What does he have on you? What does Xavier have on you?" Right?
Yeah.
Like, so she seems to maybe not know about that. So that maybe takes away from my theory. But I'm still going to work on it.
But then again, to be fair, we don't know why Cal was killed. We're assuming it has something to do with that, but it could be something totally out of left field. I mean,
yeah.
And speaking about that whole situation, so this week kind of like gave me some more clues. I think, I was like, how does Presley find the tablet in the bush? Like, why is it in the bush? And then it dawned on me. I think Cal threw it out the window intentionally, hoping that it made its way to
Xavier.
No, what's his either Xavier or his son.
Jeremy.
Jeremy, because he did all that stuff for Jeremy. But yeah, I mean, Xavier was probably the one who was thinking about when he threw it out the window. And Xavier probably would have found it had Presley not taken it that night. But I think he threw it out the window because of whatever was happening inside his room when he was murdered.
Like, so that whoever...
By possibly the person with the flower uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which looked like a man, but it could have just been... It could have been throwing us off.
We do need to talk about all that, but let's talk a bit. First, I want to talk about his wife.
Terry. Her name is Terry.
Terry.
Okay. I really, in this episode, I guess it's just to me that Xavier wants somebody to blame. This episode, to me, made me see that Cal really wasn't to blame. He told Cal, without saying it in so many words, you need to tell her to quit going to wherever she was going and put your foot down. And I feel like Xavier didn't push the issue, didn't listen. And I, after this episode, more feel like Xavier's to blame and just can't handle the fact that it's kind of his own fault.
Oh, I completely disagree with that.
You disagree? I mean, he didn't outright say, hey, the world's going to end tomorrow. But he did say to him, it's time for you to not let her go. I mean, that to me was like telling him, I can't tell you how long it is, but it's close. And I don't know. That's how I felt.
We also don't know we still don't have enough context. We still don't know the extent of exactly what happened and everything. But Cal did say, well, if she insists on continuing to go, we'll just have to go pick her up. Clearly, they did not go and pick her up.
Yeah. But to be fair, I'm guessing whatever happened, like you can't, even if he says that, I don't feel like you can expect the president to put people, and we don't know for sure, but I'm assuming if he said that he didn't because something happened. Like you can't necessarily put people.
Well, I mean, exactly. We need more information. This is a math problem that doesn't have all the information.
I just cannot believe that there is a conversation happening with the words "don't let her go." It's so offensive to me that Cal would suggest that a husband lets a wife do anything, and that suggestion, like, it's not Xavier's fault for letting his wife go. Like, he might have guilt that he didn't try to argue about it more, but I don't think we can say that it's Cal's fault because he should have stopped his wife. I mean,
I guess I'm more saying that it isn't Cal's fault. Like, he told Xavier. I'm not saying that Xavier should have been like, you're not allowed to go. I'm just saying that, like, to blame Cal when Cal kind of said to him, you know, you need to talk her into or whatever, that maybe she shouldn't be going. Like, in my opinion,
that's not what he blames. That's not what he blames Cal for. He said last week, when he yelled, he said he didn't get her on the plane. He says what he hates Cal for is not getting her on a plane, not saving her. He doesn't, right? He hates Cal for, in this scene, we see Cal say, all right, we'll go pick her up if we have to, right?
Right.
And it didn't happen. That's what he has always hated.
I guess I see that. I just kind of look at it as like, if it were me and I was Xavier, and granted, I mean, you can say lots of things in hindsight. I'm just saying, if the president said to me what he said to him, that to me was a red flag. Something's going down. You need to stop it now. And it doesn't matter what you do. Find a way to get her to stay. Tell her something to get her to stay. That's how I feel. Again, could he have made her stay? I'm not saying he could have, and I'm not saying he necessarily should be telling his wife, you're going to do what I say. I'm just saying that is how I interpret what he said to him. And I would have, like, right then and there gotten my family and been like, screw this. We're going to stay, and I'm going to find a way to make you agree with me.
I mean, he also wouldn't tell Xavier what it was. So how could you evaluate the risk if you don't know what you're talking about?
Like, I guess that's true. I'm also seeing this in hindsight, knowing the world ended too. So
yeah. I mean, there was no way for. I mean, the president gets evacuated to that room probably like all the time. Like, the president's life gets threatened 10 times every day, and they have tons of plans for everything. And I don't. You know, like, Cal told Xavier, from what we've seen, Cal at that point had told Xavier a little, and like, there's a plan in case something goes bad, but there was not nearly enough information for Xavier to.
I have a question.
I think I'm also more paranoid. I would have jumped the gun a lot sooner, no matter what.
So
sorry, go ahead, AJ.
Do we think this scene is before or after he's read in on the tablet?
I assumed it was after, but I hadn't really thought about it.
See,
Maybe
I assumed it was after too, but then I started thinking, well, if it's after, why doesn't Xavier know more? Like, what did they tell him about the tablet? You know what I mean? What was on the tablet?
That's why I'm looking at it as why didn't he know that something like this was going down? That actually
that's what I'm saying. Like, did they just tell him, listen, there's a extinction level event and blah 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 blah? Did they not give him more details when he sat in the room with all those people?
I think not.
Clearly, that's why I'm a little confused by the timeline in that scene.
Yeah, because that actually makes what I'm saying. It makes more sense to me in that sense, because that's why I'm saying, like, if I know that there's an extinction level event coming and the president says to me, you need to make her stay home, like, I would be jumping to do it. But yeah, maybe he doesn't.
Okay. He never said you need to make her stay home.
I know he didn't. I said that is how if somebody said that to me, I would have interpreted that as it's coming, but I'm not allowed to tell you it's coming. That's how I interpreted that line that he said to him. But I said, I'm also, I think, probably more paranoid than he would be too. And I would have taken that like a lot different. But if he doesn't know that the world's going to end and doesn't know a lot of details, then he would react differently. So
I may be also a little swayed by having seen on the next episode promo that comes at the end, right? Which AJ, you don't count that as a spoiler,
if you want,
right?
it's fine. It's fine if you mention it. I mean, it's out there, so
it's out there.
I just never watch it. I get to the credits and I turn it off. Yeah. I don't wait.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
So in the promo for next week, Cal says, I thought we would have a warning. Like, there's like, Lana's like, there's something blowing up or whatever, and they're evacuating the White House. Versailles is activated, blah, blah, blah. And Cal's like, I thought you said we would have a warning. And someone goes, this is it, Mr. President. So
this is a warning, you dumbass.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of where I was going with it too, because I don't think Cal thought it was going to happen within the next 10 days either.
Yeah.
Based on the conversation.
I think when he was saying to Xavier, well, you should talk to your wife and see if maybe it's time for her to like curtail her travel. Having seen that promo, he definitely didn't think it was happening in the next 10 days or maybe even in the next, like, I mean, he did say, I'm going to be president when the world ends, right?
I just thought of something.
He knew it was coming within his term. What did you just think of?
So we're talking about, not understanding how there's, why there's nuclear warheads going off in Atlanta. Could it be that because of whatever natural disasters could be taking place, that they caused the nuclear warheads to blow up? And that we weren't being attacked. It was a result of like an earthquake.
Yeah. So yes, I'm not a scientist. I don't think nukes work that way, but I understand your train of thought and where you're going with this. That something happens that causes them to launch. Yeah. That it's an accidental launch of like we thought the climate was going to wipe us out, and we accidentally wiped ourselves out.
That would never happen. We're not
because our weapons weren't secure. I mean, that could be it. But clearly, Cal thought this would happen sometime in the next 3 years, but not in the next 3 weeks, because he was expecting a warning. I mean, I have wondered for a while I think we all have, about Cal's anger. And Jamie, I see a lot of comment. I'm looking at the photos. So are you watching that chat? I just see 28 comments and I'm like, oh, but every time Jamie posts, like,
then it goes like 6 times.
7 that are just from Jamie.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep track of it. Okay,
cool. Our roles are reversed, right? Because on Saturday nights, you do the pictures and I do the chat.
Yeah.
Like, I have felt for a while that Xavier's anger could be partially at himself. Like, he's so angry at Cal and he hates Cal so much. but Cal, like, the more we see of him, he's just not a bad dude, right?
Right.
And I've been wondering about Xavier's anger and how much of it, like, and so Jamie, like I'm down with you on what you said earlier, that like he's mad at himself for not saying something sooner to his wife or not having a conversation. So one thing we also don't know, what is her work? We know she's doctor, and that she has important work. And Atlanta, I mean, that's where the CDC is. I don't know if that's where she's going to do whatever she does, but we don't know how important her work is that she should go there and not. I mean, Xavier does sort of half-heartedly try to be like, don't go. And she's like, too late. I'm going on the plane now. Bye. I love you. I assume maybe that's the last time he sees her. He tried a little bit, but like maybe her work's like super important, right? And if you're going to ask her not to do it, you better have a really well thought out reason.
Yeah. I guess also if the president tells you, hey, if she can't stay, we'll go get her. Like I mean, I guess you would also probably believe that.
I'd hold him to it.
Yeah, but it's just, I would worry that like if it comes down to it, he would have to save the people over.
Yeah, we still need more information.
No, we do.
We're just speculating.
So the one thing I know Justin said a lot about, we haven't talked about much about Presley, and that she takes off.
God, she's just like Carl.
Yep.
Like every damn teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Says the father of teenagers.
Yeah. Would any of this happen if Presley had stayed put? Maybe eventually, at any rate, Xavier is going all John McClane and Sinatra when all he knows is she's hiding something. Does he know when he goes to Sinatra? Does he know she's gone yet? I'm trying to remember because I'm thinking back. He doesn't actually.
I just watched this episode 5 minutes ago. We don't know where. All we saw was Presley walk off with Jane like an idiot.
Okay, we did.
Not like an idiot, because she doesn't know that Jane is the bad guy.
Okay, but she's supposed to be somewhere that she told her father she would be. She left her little brother. She took off, right? Like, she knows some weird shit is up with her father. I think she should have been like, I can't, because the Secret Service agent is scared and needs someone to come eat ice cream with me.
I know that.
Her boyfriend just died.
Oh my God.
I know, but her father told her, he said to stay with Jeremy, didn't he? Stay by him too.
Who's Jeremy?
No, he said stay with her brother and Carl. They had a secret hiding place all worked out.
With the bartender. It was.
I remember thinking though that if she had at least stayed with her brother near, his name's Jeremy, right? Or am I?
No, Jeremy's the president's son.
Yeah. But
her brother's name is James. Her brother's name is James.
Okay, no, but I mean, like, if she had stayed, even if she left like she did, if she had stayed with the president's son, she would have been at least, I would think, safer.
Yes.
Than her going off with Jane. And it makes no sense to me. I agree with you. Like, she's old enough. Why would you do that? Like,
she didn't take a bite.
They needed her.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't know that right now what Xavier is doing had to do with her leaving, because I don't think he's aware of it yet. But I'm assuming that Sinatra is going to use it against him, which is going to be bad.
I mean, if Presley had stayed put, she wouldn't be wherever Jane is taking her. If Presley had, but I think maybe, I don't know if Justin is referring to like the sort of riot that's breaking out because Jeremy and Presley are like, look up in the sky. It's true. I have this Jeremy's getting ready to maybe reveal a lot of information, I think.
And that's because of them finding the tablet and looking at it. And,
I think the riot was kind of breaking out anyway because people were scared.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the riot broke out as soon as the power went out.
Yeah.
As soon as they shut down the grid.
Yeah.
That's when people started freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I want to put up his other comment here, and I was trying to find it in the recap where it was, because I'm trying to remember exactly what was said. What is up with the flower symbol? Now, this is a symbol she saw with somebody when she found the tablet. Okay. I can't remember. Refresh my memory what she saw.
Grandpa has the bookmark that his wife gave him, and it's got a flower on it. And she's like, I've seen that symbol. And then they show the flash of when she finds the tablet, and somebody in coveralls with that symbol on the back of their coveralls running away from the president's house.
So, do we think that person's the murderer, or just that they know something?
Oh, yep.
I mean,
Either one.
I think they're the murderer because,
yeah.
I mean,
probably.
we can't. How many randos are hanging around the White House at night?
It's not the White House.
Well, to be fair, their security isn't very good.
Well, okay, true, but like, I'm sure somebody on the internet has probably put these two pictures next to each other. I cannot find it. I'm looking online because
What I was gonna say, you can do a share screen of whatever you're trying to show.
If I can find it, yeah. My computer's trying to log me in. It was on the back of like someone's like jacket or jumpsuit or something, right? I didn't think so. The quick look I got at it, I'm like, really? It doesn't really look identical. Like, what are you?
Well, I definitely think we're supposed to think it is, because otherwise they wouldn't have presented it the way they did.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I didn't think it looked so similar, but I guess it's similar enough. I mean, it raises a huge question. If it's really connected to the bookmark that he got 1,000,000 years ago, right? I mean, or I don't know. I was wondering if I should read it just as like,
yeah, I'm not sure what it's implying, unless it's just implying that he's somehow involved, or that, I don't know. I just wondered if maybe because it was like a symbol that was important to him, that it's something they used for a motif in something down the road, and it's not really connected. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure the significance of the fact that the symbol matches, I guess. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean the father's involved, or does it mean nothing and it just, they used the symbol on their outfits because it had meaning? You know?
So I also am not convinced they're identical. And I think maybe it was just to jog, just like seeing Presley jogged Grandpa's memory. Like maybe seeing that flower, it's similar enough that it jogged Presley's memory that she saw a random person that night, which seems like a little crazy, because why would she, like, she doesn't have Alzheimer's like he does, and how would she forget something like that? You're lurking around the White House and you see a person in the bushes, like you think you would remember that. So I could be wrong. Maybe
to play devil's advocate, I've seen in a lot of shows, and granted, this is still television, and television isn't real life, but I'm sure you've seen it in a lot of shows. I'm sure you've seen it in a lot of shows where they show how, like, when a crime is committed, that people don't remember real details. Like, they'll have somebody do something, and then they see how many people actually got correct details, and most people are completely off base. So yeah, it could be, like you said, maybe it was just to make her remember something, because I don't know that she would have remembered enough about the person running away that it would be helpful either way. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. AJ, did you think they were identical, or?
I didn't, until she said that, I didn't see the bookmark. I didn't pay enough attention to the bookmark to see if they were.
They were both flowers. That's what I remember.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, exactly. They were both flowers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have to think in this show that if they are presenting it to us, that we're probably supposed to connect it, maybe not know why, but I don't know. I mean, this isn't Severance, so I don't know that we need to go back and like compare it exactly. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me yet. So
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Sinatra? What she did in the end? Like, I'm not talking about with Xavier for a minute. Let's talk about the fact she shut the dome off. Do you think that was a bad idea? I think she's going to cause such mass panic that was a horrible idea. And I think that the doctor was right not to do that.
I agree.
I agree. I think it is going to cause people to be. I mean, the only way this works is if they have ultimate total trust in the system that it's going to work and keep them alive, right? And like the president's been killed. I mean, they were not told he was killed. They were told the president died of natural causes.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah.
But it's still that alone has a very destabilizing effect, right, on people. That their leader is gone, and they have a billionaire running the place instead. Sounds familiar. And then to have like the message appear for a couple days, and then to have like the lights turned off, like I think it was a bad idea. And I think Gabriella was right that in her argument, and yet I don't know, she's a little. I do feel like she's also like very invested in this town succeeding. Maybe she defines success a little bit differently. Maybe she has, but she was just weird when she said it. But she was right. It was a bad idea, and it's going to cause people to ask more questions. And like, why did it go off? Did somebody turn it off? Did it fail? I think
it would have been better to let people see whatever the message was Xavier put up than to do what she did.
She did it to cover her own ass because she knew it.
And I think that if she was concerned about protecting the town, which is what she's supposed to be concerned about, and granted she's not, but I'm saying what she's supposed to be about, that she would have put that first. Like whatever fallout there is from whatever it is that Xavier reveals, I think the fallout maybe would have been less than what it's going to be.
She would have been run out of town. That's if what played.
Yeah, but if people panic, it could become like, people killing each other to survive. I mean, like that's what she's saying they're trying to avoid, and that's why they're not letting people in, and everybody's safe here, and like they have this illusion of being safe. But if you take that away, are people going to start freaking out and attacking people and like end up like the Walking Dead type, everybody for themselves? I just worry that it could be worse than what it would have been if people knew.
I agree with that.
I mean, it's kind of exactly like Silo, where people they were told your leaders are lying to you. They lost trust, and then they all ran outside and died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we think that she then would have been better to tell the people the truth? Like, I think that
better for the people, yes.
Better for about her, whether they went out and let them in or went and got them. And I think that even if they had said, hey, we're not going to get them, it still might have been better if people knew. I don't know, but I also see that could be a problem too, telling people. But I still think that it would have been better than what she did.
Well, yeah, no, like I said, better for the people, absolutely. Better for her, no. And that's why she did what she did.
I mean, I think from Sinatra's perspective, okay, Sinatra's perspective was, no, don't tell the survivors, just kill them. But I think what Justin's saying is if you were Sinatra, I mean, I think it was one person. The scientists found one woman living. Like, you can bring one woman, like, she wouldn't let one person come down. Like, you could, like, bring her down and
swear her to secrecy. And
well, I mean, you don't have to tell all 25,000 people at once, but you could talk to her, find out what's going on up there, and then maybe you talk to the people and say, guess what, humanity wasn't wiped out. Please understand, I think you have to, at some point, Sinatra has no trust in her community of people that were all picked so carefully, and yet she doesn't think they can have shouldn't they be able to have a conversation with their leaders and be like, whether, like, what are the pros and cons? Should we look for more people? How many can we accommodate? What can, let me ask you, was to kill this person, right? So I think,
Let me ask you a question. Just this is my own now philosophical question. Like, I know that I get the idea if you let one person in and people know that you have this safe haven, people might try to get in. And that could be something, although I don't think that that's her main concern. That could be something she could be worried about. She could be worried about people getting out to go search for them. But I wonder from her perspective, would she have even been better to let the woman in and killed her after she was inside, like by poison or by something to get rid of her, and maybe had, like, it could have swept it under the rug easier. Like, by her having what's his face, shoot. See, I can't remember names either. Billy, shoot all three of them and kill them and not let them come back. Like, if she had let them come back, they could have told the truth. I don't know. I just think that there were other ways to handle it. Even if she still eventually killed that woman, she could have done it in a different way.
I mean, your audio is very bad, Jamie. Yeah, AJ, did you hear Jamie's audio breaking up a lot?
A little bit.
But I think you're saying, like, she could have brought her in and then still killed her on the inside.
Right. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It would have made more sense to me, even from her perspective, not from a good perspective, but from hers.
I mean, it does seem, now that you say that, Jamie, it does seem a little not strategic of Sinatra to not learn all she could from this woman before killing her. Like, are there other people up there? Are you the only one? Are there 10 people? Are there 1 million people? How did you live? Like, maybe if she's out there, maybe she's going to die of radiation poisoning anyway, or maybe she's going to, right? Like, but that's not who Sinatra is, right? Sinatra is not, it didn't serve her interests, as you both said.
Right.
Like, her interest is in maintaining her control over her perfect little world down there.
Definitely. Justin's also asking, do you think it's possible that that woman could have been Colin's wife? I thought that too. However, I tend to think now at this point, no, just because I think that she's going to be part of the story going forward. And if she's already dead, she can't.
How'd she get from Atlanta to Colorado?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I still thought that when I first heard it.
Well, I mean, when we first heard it weeks ago, I probably thought that for a moment also before I really thought about it. And before more stuff happened. She definitely wasn't. She definitely wasn't, because she has to be alive. Also, how could she get... So at the end, when Sinatra says, your wife's still alive and I can help you find her, if you put that gun down. So she could be lying. She could just be saying that, right? Or how would she get from... So maybe she got on a plane, a different plane, and got evacuated in a different way somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not... So I don't think maybe that Air Force One was going to detour to Atlanta on the way to... I think maybe they were going to send a plane to Atlanta to go get Terry and bring her to Washington. And maybe that plane never made it. Maybe that plane landed someplace else.
That makes more sense, yeah.
Could that be a possibility?
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. No, let's... I think we got... Let's see. We have one more comment from Justin. I think we go through out. Now, I don't think we actually know that bombs were dropped, do we? That's...
No. Well, yes. What Presley read on the tablet was 2 thermonuclear blasts hit Atlanta, right?
Okay, I thought when you said it, I thought you said she just knew there were 2 devices. I couldn't remember. I didn't want to give anything away. Okay, so could she have survived 2 thermonuclear bomb drops on Atlanta? Well, if she's in Fear the Walking Dead, sure. Beyond that, I don't know.
Only if she could survive it if she wasn't there, right?
Yeah, we don't know. I mean, we're assuming she was there, but we're still missing pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah. I'm looking up a recap here to see what Presley actually said, but amazingly, the Cinemaholic skims right, doesn't even mention the word Atlanta, which was like just a huge piece of information, right? But yeah, 2 thermonuclear bombs. 2 thermonuclear, I think she says 2 thermonuclear bombs hit Atlanta. So yeah, there's no way anybody could survive that unless they were not there.
Yeah. Although it's TV, you never know. But at least in the real world, nobody could have survived that.
Yeah. I mean, so Sinatra's lying about Terry being alive because as far as we know, only one person was found, and Billy killed her and the scientists who knew about it. So unless it's a situation like Justin is suggesting, like multiple silos that can communicate with each other, and she knows Terry's alive in a different paradise, or I mean, I think she's just buying time. I don't think she knows.
Do you think she's lying? Do you think Terry's alive, though? Whether you think Sinatra's lying or not? Because I thought we kind of all agreed that it was likely she was alive just because there's a season 2.
I believe she's alive just because there's a season 2. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Same. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think she's alive. But you know what?
Yeah, I was just gonna say either way, Sinatra is gonna have to make some kind of move at this point, and I'm curious what she's going to do because she's kind of being backed into a corner.
Yeah. I mean, she knows. Yeah, she knows that this is the driving thing that made Xavier hate the president, that his family's so important to him, and I think she just says it. She's buying time until she can get, like, Jane can get. So I don't think. Here's another question. I don't think Sinatra knows that Jane was going to kidnap Presley, right?
No. Yeah, I kind of wondered about that because I questioned, would she do that when with what happened to her kid? Like, would she actually use his daughter against him? And I hadn't decided whether I felt she would or not, but I wanted to ask you guys that. I was curious what you thought. So you don't think you think that she just thought she'd take care of it, not necessarily that she'd kidnap Presley?
No, Jane doesn't tell that that's what she's going to do. Jane says, I can't track him. I'm going at this from a different angle. That's all she really says.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I kind of, I'm on both sides of the fence here. I think that if she finds out Jane has Presley, that she may use her to get what she wants from Xavier. But I also wonder, because of her losing her kid, is that too far for her to go? I don't know. Like threatening the kid's life. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I will hate her even more if she does, but I would hope that that's like a line she's not going to cross. I guess I feel like that she might not just because of what happened, but I guess we'll see.
Well, Jamie, I give you credit for trying to see the good in somebody, but I think that she's a giant hypocrite and she would definitely cross that line. I mean, she will definitely threaten that child's life. Would she go through it and kill Presley? Actually, I don't know, but I bet she absolutely will threaten Presley's life.
Probably, but if she does, I'll hate her more. But that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think she will. I don't. I mean, she didn't have the president killed. I thought she had the president killed, but she had an innocent survivor and those scientists killed, right? Like that is some cold shit. I mean, I do think it's a little bit different story that she didn't like do it with her bare hands. I don't know, like she's not that person, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, she'd get somebody to do her dirty work.
Yeah.
Yeah, hence why Jane is doing everything.
Jane is the worst, man. I hate Jane.
I want a Jane backstory. I'm just curious. I don't need a whole episode for it, but you know.
Yeah.
I like a little something, you know, similar to what we got with Billy.
Yeah. Yeah. Jane, also, how did Jane know that by tracking Jeremy, she could track Presley? Like Billy knew that.
Jane know?
What? How did Jane know that Presley? I mean, I guess maybe if you're watching people's bands, you can see that those two bands are together a lot. Like,
I haven't answered.
Okay, please answer it because I'm talking myself into a circle.
So it wasn't necessarily on screen that we see it, but before I feel like Billy has already talked to Jane about Presley and Jeremy because he says to Jane before she kills him, he's like, I convinced Presley to take her shot. And he said it in a way, and he didn't give any more explanation.
But
so that
she
leads me
knew.
to believe that there was already a conversation that took place.
She also, if she was observant, probably knows young teenage girl. She's probably at some point or another said something that gave her the impression she had a crush on him, I would say. So it's probably not a super huge leap.
I guess, yeah. And this is not we're not watching a show that's like super intense with the clues.
This isn't Severance.
Yeah. Yeah. So she knew. I wonder what. So Jane would absolutely kill her, right? Like Jane would. Jane will kill Presley in a second. She's a complete psycho. Yeah. That maybe is the real danger there. Not that Sinatra would do something to her, but that Jane goes off the rails.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably why Presley is the most in danger. And Presley's kind of an idiot. She shouldn't have gone off by herself. She shouldn't have, Presley made a lot of mistakes. But I mean, they've also shown her to be smart and tough. And so, maybe we're going to see her escape next week.
Yeah.
All right. So, real quick, while we've been sitting here talking, I went and did this.
It's
They're
very
the same.
similar.
That's the same. And you got to keep in mind that the one on, the smaller one on the right is the bookmark.
Yeah.
That looks like a sand dollar to me, but I'm honest.
It's a sand dollar,
right? I believe it's a lotus.
It's some kind of flower. It's supposed to be. I'm just saying to me, it looks
there's enough of a connection there that there's a connection here somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
The bookmark just looks a little more distorted because it's a bookmark that was pressed.
Yeah.
And it's old and it's a real flower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one other question. Were you surprised that I can never remember her name, the doctor, Gabriella. Were you surprised that she was surprised that she was spying on them? Because she seemed like shocked. Like I thought that was kind of a given, and she already knew that. That's why she went in the shower with them in the first place.
Right?
She seemed pretty surprised. Like you were spying.
Oh my God, that was
was a little
funny.
It was funny, but
I think she was playing it. I feel like she was playing it because that's literally the reason that she took him in the shower. Well, not the only reason, but
it was the excuse. Yeah.
Yeah, she totally played that. Like, you have my place bugged. Like, she knew.
How could you? Yeah, because that's the reason she took him in the shower in the first place. I mean, so that they couldn't be listened to, so she could whisper in his ear.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny about actors and actresses and stuff like this, because it's funny because it kind of goes to show, like, they act for a living, but you don't think about the character acting for a living. So it's like when they do a good but that's what I'm saying, when they do a good job of making us question it, it's almost like, was that actually out of character because they did too good of a job doing it?
That's a good point. We missed one of Justin's questions, but we sort of talked a little bit about this, but where'd it go? Now I lost it. Sorry. Anyway, he was saying, why do you think Jane went after Presley, though, instead of listening to...
Well, we kind of answered that because she couldn't find Xavier.
She couldn't, yeah. I guess she thinks that that's the best way to get to him, which it probably is.
Well, yeah, because Xavier cut his wristband, so there's no way to track him.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think...
Well, I liked the part where Sinatra's like, oh, he chopped his thing off. And the technician guy says, actually, like, taking off your bracelet is not that uncommon. At any given time, at least a dozen people have their bracelet off.
So they couldn't tell for sure.
Yeah, but his bracelet...
Absolutely, if somebody was with them or not. I like that.
Yeah, well, his bracelet had been off for a while, though. That was what they were saying.
Yeah.
And they're like, who else's bracelets are turned off right now? All the Secret Service.
Yeah, maybe you ought to realize that you're outnumbered, girl.
Well, first they realized Robinson's was off, and that's when they were like, "Oh shit, who else?"
Yeah, I know. And I love them working together in this episode too. I just have to say, Robinson and Xavier. I like that.
Yeah,
yeah, and that's the great thing about them working. They're a force. You know, when they were at odds with each other, it was kind of uncomfortable because they both had points, and now that they're working together, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. I would agree.
Mm-hmm. So,
oh, and Karen, did you take my advice? Did you watch the previously?
I did. I watched the previously, and the president clearly tells Robinson exactly where the guns are to be found. I don't know how I missed it the first time I watched the episode. So thank you.
You were probably
you say you're doing laundry while you're watching.
You were probably yelling at the TV, you were probably like, "Yeah, go Robinson! You tell him where to stick those earrings."
Yeah. Yeah. I missed the important part. So all around great episode. I like kind of can't wait to watch the next episode.
Yeah, I know. You know what is great for me? I'm off on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So tomorrow I'll sit here and first I have like a ritual on Wednesdays. I watch The Rookie, and then I'll and now I watch Paradise right after.
So you bang it right out. I like wait. I don't know why I wait so much.
It's funny. It's on one hand I'd like to wait because then it gets here quicker again, but from us talking about it all, speculating and I have having my ideas and you guys having your ideas, and then those ideas coming together to create new ideas. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah.
I'm actually glad I already watched it, the next one, and I've only seen one more. I haven't seen the end, but I had seen
and Jamie, as usual, can't help herself and
yes, you're correct. I can't. But to be fair, like I was watching it with my mom. She wanted to see it too, and it's like I'm not gonna
blame your mother. Blame your mother.
I'm gonna say I'm glad though, because I have an interview for 8:30 tomorrow morning. I can't stay up to watch it. So in this case, I'm glad I watched it. But I did good with Reacher. I only watched 3 Reacher, I promise. So I did a little bit.
Well, I watched the first 3 when they came on, and that was it. Which we can talk about next, right?
Yeah, I think we're done with Paradise.
If we're about done with Paradise,
I think we covered it all.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I didn't put up the Reacher pictures, did I? I'm sorry.
No,
I put
them. I was just going to download the QR.
No, I have them. I just didn't put them in. That's my fault. I can get them really quick while we're talking, I think. I think I fixed it. What network is that at? Amazon.
Amazon,
yeah. I have to think about it there for a second. Yeah, okay. I did. I fixed them. I just didn't upload them. That's my fault.
You can load them in.
They'll be in a second. All right. So, AJ, you've never watched Reacher at all, right?
You might. Did he hang up?
No, I muted myself. No, I've not watched Reacher at all.
All right.
I got the key art, Jamie.
Okay. I was gonna say because I got.
That's all I got.
Which ones went up?
While you do that, so I watched the 3 in a row. When they came out, like right when they dropped, like whatever they came out like a whole week ago, right? February 20th. That's the day it came out, right in front of my face.
That would be it. That would be it.
So I think I watched it right on the 20th. I was at my dad's house and banged them all out. I mean, this show is like so easy to watch, right? And I really liked how they worked it out in the first 2 episodes with the flashback, right? Like we see Reacher rescue, what's the boy's name? Sean? Rob? Richard?
Richard, I think.
It's Richard, right? I think so. Reacher rescues Richard. And like and he gets the job and everything. And then the next episode, I'm like, wait, what's going on? And it's like the flashback to how it was all set up, right?
Yeah, because I know for the whole beginning of the episode, I think they did this last season too. I was trying to remember. You're kind of like, why would he do that? Like, this isn't Reacher. He doesn't just kill people like that and without thought. And like, I'm just like, why is he doing this? This is out of character. And then you find out, no, it's not. It was all a setup. And I love that. I did like the way they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the way they did that too. It was a little bit. I mean, there have always been flashbacks in Reacher, but I like the way it was part of like the whole setup there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that boy's name is Richard Beck. The son's name is Richard. You're correct. Yeah. Actually, this is not that scene, but that whole setup where Reacher like saves the kid from getting kidnapped and then goes back to his father's house. And
that's the main thing that's out of characters. He shoots the cop and doesn't even stop to see if he's okay. And you find out
that was weird, right? I was like, wait, Reacher,
why would you do that? That doesn't make sense. Yes.
So you shot a cop, and Reacher's like, I didn't know, but now I have to run because they'll arrest me or whatever. Like, I can't go to jail, right? Like, it's all this bit about how he shot the cop. It is very un-Reacher-like. Reacher doesn't kill very many. He doesn't really like to kill people unless
he does kill people, but he does it when he has to. And like, he didn't even know if the guy was dead. I'm like, he would have at least saw if he was alive. And
I mean,
yeah. So I really like him.
He doesn't even really carry a gun in his normal life. He just has to, like, he acquires guns throughout the season, but he's not.
He acquires guns, like he requires places to stay too.
I mean, he famously only carries a toothbrush. Like, that's Reacher's whole thing, that he doesn't even have clothes. And yeah, he kills people who deserve to be killed. But I feel like Reacher, first, he'd prefer to just beat the shit out of people.
There's that, yeah.
Right, but look who the father is. That was awesome. That took me a minute at first. I was like, wait, who is it? Oh, actually, the first thing that came into my head, I forgot his name, and I'm like, it's that guy from the Dead Zone.
I think that's where we mostly know him because we used to cover the Dead Zone way back when. Yeah. So that was awesome. And this guy obviously is an asshole, though. He seems to somewhat care for his son, but not enough, I guess, is the way I would describe it. Like, he doesn't want his son to die, but he clearly didn't send ransom money or whatever that his kid ended up losing an ear. But Reacher, he's like, okay, this guy saved his life, so he's going to work for me now. And they have it all set up because since Reacher supposedly killed a cop, he will be willing to do whatever this guy says in order for him to fake it or hide it. I mean, to hide the fact that he killed the cop.
Yeah.
Now, I also love the fake here where he has the gun and he tells him to play Russian roulette. And it makes it like Reacher is totally insane. And then Reacher says, oh, I knew he wouldn't use a real bullet. And then that guy proves that they did have a real bullet. And he kind of gets this look like, I could have died. But then you find out later, as soon as they mentioned about putting the mark on the gun, I'm like, oh, he totally knew how many times he could pull that trigger.
Yeah.
So that was great too. I love that misdirection.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. And you had to go to the flashback to see that, right? Like, that was like in the flashback, they show how he like always had his, that was pretty, and like, I guess there had to be
it was so they could put fake bullets and real bullets in it, but he knew where the real bullet was or something like that in order to kill the guy that they kidnapped. Yeah, because the police, or not the police, they're not police, but that they got that guy kidnapped now.
Because he did it because he was going to shoot blanks at the cop, the fake cop, right? When he shoots the fake cop, when he had to know where the real bullet was so he wouldn't shoot him, right?
Right, so he wouldn't really kill anybody, right?
Yes, I should know these people's names.
Yeah, I'm trying to look on IMDb, but it only has stuff. A lot of it's from season 1, so it's not helpful.
No,
the one he's working with is Susan Duffy, and I don't know if that helps. That's the woman. I keep wanting to say she's a cop. She's not a cop. She's FBI, right? No, FBI?
DEA, I think maybe.
One of them. She's yeah, that's her name. I'm trying to find out. I'm bad. I am so bad at names. I'm as bad, if not worse, than you are. So,
Her name is Duffy, and the other guy's name is it'll come to me in a second.
Yeah, probably. Let's see, DEA agent. I'm looking at Decider here. They have it listed at DEA. They're DEA agent, the veteran Villanueva,
yeah,
and the rookie Elliot.
Yeah.
So there. That's
his name is Guillermo Villanueva.
Okay. And Elliot is the guy that they're letting take the heat because he screwed up their case or whatever.
Well, he's like the junior agent and he did screw up their case, but yeah, he's like the junior guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess the overall point is that they want to infiltrate this guy's quote unquote rug company. The DEA agents want to infiltrate it because her CI disappeared. But Reacher originally agrees to help because this guy Quinn, who he thought he killed years ago, who was like, I guess, the worst of the worst, he finds out he's alive because he sees him working for that guy.
Yeah. Wait, working for Beck?
Yeah. Well, actually, we find out that Beck works for him, but yeah.
Oh yeah, the guy. So Beck works for the horrible
Quinn. I do remember his name.
Quinn. His name is Quinn. Who is played by Brian T. Who hopefully we'll get to see more of than him just walking on. All we saw him was getting a car, right?
Yeah.
But I think people know him from being in a lot of movies, including Fast and Furious. And he was on Chicago Med is like his big thing. He's been on Chicago Med for like years. What's that show been on there for like 7 years? Well, no, he went off it. I think he was on it for like many years. I think he went off the show. He, those Chicago shows, they all cross over. And he's been in a bunch of movies. But if the Chicago universe, the one Chicago fans will know him.
Yeah.
And he's been in like a million movies.
Yeah. So trying to find out where he's at. Now, there's a lot of different characters he meets along the way that work for Beck. I think that, I forget what his name is, Angel Doll. He's hilarious.
Angel Doll's not in this.
I wanted him to kill him, but at the same time, I like the guy. He was funny. And then you got that guy there in the background too, the guy that he gets to punch himself in the face.
So that guy, I had to look him up. His name is Olivier Richters. He's Dutch and he is 7'2". He's one of the few people that can make Reacher look small, right?
Yeah.
He was in the Black Widow movie, so people might recognize him from that movie.
Oh, okay.
And he's been actually in a lot of movies that need a very large person to be in, right? And he's a bodybuilder, but it is kind of like it's kind of great that they could find an actor who makes Alan Ritchson look small, right?
Yeah, I know.
I guess Alan Ritchson's maybe not a super tall guy.
No, but he's very muscly guy. He definitely is strong looking, and this guy's both tall and strong looking.
Yeah,
so he kind of dwarfs him a bit, so that's great.
Yeah.
And now we have this other guy too, and I don't remember his name, but the other guy that's standing in the picture. I don't know why, but I kept feeling like maybe he will in the end up helping Reacher, and I don't know what makes me think that, but I thought that for a while. I don't think it's so much now, but I did at the beginning.
Wait, you thought what?
For whatever reason, I just thought like maybe one of these people it's going to end up isn't like really bad, or is like kind of doesn't want to be there and couldn't get out of it or something. I don't know. For whatever reason, I felt that about that guy on the left for a while. I don't so much think it now, but for whatever reason at the beginning, I did.
Well, I mean, you definitely don't think it now.
No,
right?
I don't think it now, but at the beginning, I did. Beginning of the
because now he's dead, so it's definitely.
No, wait, he's dead? Oh, wait, I'm trying to think. Did they kill him?
Yeah, his name is Finley, right?
No, Finley's from last season or from the first season. No, the guy that's in this, I don't think he's dead yet, is he?
Yeah, in episode 3, the house blows up. He's in the house. He shoots him and blows up the house.
Oh, okay, I didn't remember that. Okay, well then, yeah, it doesn't matter, and he's not going to help him. I don't know, for whatever reason, I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't watch the last few minutes. Maybe I stopped it to do something and never went back.
His name is
Well, he's dead, so it doesn't.
He's dead. That guy's dead. Remember when they had the fake fight in the house, and he says, "Oh, when he goes with Beck, and they're going to meet the guys who they set it up that Angel Doll had they make Beck think that Angel Doll sent a text message saying to betray him, and meet me at this house, and it's all set up. They explain all that at the end of episode 3.
Yeah, I remember them getting them to come in that building. I just don't. I'm wondering if I missed the last couple minutes and forgot that I stopped it and didn't go back to it, because I remember those two guys coming in to find Angel Doll, but that's the last thing I remember. So I must have missed the very end.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was just going to say, though, I did like Angel Doll, but I also really liked the way he killed him and shoved him under the desk. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had to squish him under there. I will say there's one thing that kind of irritates me about the show. And it's just one of the things I tell myself, Jamie, you just have to move on, because otherwise it's going to keep bugging you. This guy is rich, right? Beck. Yeah. How is it that apparently outside this mansion, he does not have enough cameras that Reacher can continually climb out the window and run across the property to go out and do things and nobody notices? That irritates me.
Yeah.
I think it was cool how he did it and how he went into the water in order to get around and go to that other building. But I don't know. Every time he goes out, I'm like, how is there nobody seeing him escape? So, yeah.
Right. We don't have a scene of that. Well, so part of that was an excuse to show Alan Richardson in his underwear multiple times in the same episode, right?
That is also
true. But yeah, there's all these cameras that only are on the gate in the driveway, I guess, and not there are no cameras in the backyard at all.
Yeah, he's able to leave at will.
I guess you're just worried about. I mean, he's able to leave at will. Yes, but I think the very rough coastline is who's going to do that except for Reacher, right?
No, nobody would expect him to do that. But I mean, even just leaving the house that he's supposed to be locked in that room, the fact that he climbs across the property and nobody knows.
Yeah.
But yes, going in the water, no one would expect that. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But getting to that point, I'm not sure how he hasn't gotten caught yet. I thought maybe the son would see him, but would keep his mouth shut because he's helping him, which still could happen.
That other henchman who looks so tiny in the background, his name is Duke, that henchman. He was a very unpleasant person. All 3 of these episodes is why is he such a jerk? Why they got to make this guy to be such a jerk? He every single time he spoke to Reacher, he was 100% rude, right? Yes. But now, I guess it made us enjoy him getting blown up. It was a little also unreacher to sort of ambush Duke and really kill him in cold blood that way, right? As a setup to make Beck think that to open up his job so Reacher can be the number 1 henchman now. Really,
I do remember him saying he had to get rid of him. I remember that now.
Yeah. And it's a little unreacher but they did the work of having Duffy print out all their criminal files and show what horrible people all the henchmen are, right? Angel Doll.
Yeah, because I think he even says something the world's would be a better place without him anyway, or something to that effect.
Yeah, and he had a long list of crimes that he committed, and they all 3 of these guys had been in prison. Not that I'm making a judgment call about people who go to prison. You can come out and have
he did some nasty things.
You can have a perfectly good life after doing your time, but they didn't. They chose to become henchmen for a really I feel like they work for Beck, but they don't. They work for this
When?
Yeah, but there's another name that they think he's using.
Oh,
right?
that one that the kid gives him. Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but
I forget his name, but there's another.
And I don't know if this guy's a middleman or what. We don't know. He just mentions his name.
Yeah, yeah. But it feels like these guys, like as much as they work for Beck, do they really work for Beck? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, rest in peace. So it's gonna make the big guy's name is the character's name is Paulie, right? It's going to make him extremely angry when Reacher gets promoted over his head.
Yeah. They're not going to get. They're going to probably get along even worse than they do if that's possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, he needs to move up in order to be given the information because Beck right now is keeping him out of the loop, making sure that he's only getting to know what he needs to, which makes sense. I mean, whether Reacher saved his son's life or not, he doesn't know him. Like I totally understand that. But yeah, I don't know. The thing is Beck almost sometimes to me seems like the least bad of all. Like he's the bad guy that's like, selling weapons or whatever. But they haven't actually shown him to do anything totally. I mean, I know he has, but like other guys, I guess they want you to know that they're expendable, I guess.
But he's kind of not. Like Richard tells Reacher, oh no, my dad really was only selling rugs, but he needed more money for the business was like, and so he this guy came to invest and now he makes my dad like move all this stuff around in his trucks and everything, right? Like, oh no, I know what he did. He says his father got really good at like greasing the wheels of import and export and like getting all of his rugs. It was really only rugs, but he was like bribing officials to like get his rugs delivered through customs.
Maybe he got
and then he needed more money, and these drug dealers took notice, and now they're forcing him to move their guns or weapons or whatever it is they're moving in his rug shipments. He's kind of like, but right? That's the explanation. He was totally
to decide how much of that I buy, I guess, because otherwise I would think Reach would be like, "Hey, we can get you out of this," and I wonder that could still happen in the end. Maybe he'll help him and his kid. I don't know, but
I mean, that's kind of fair, Jamie, because of course, like it's his son. He's gonna maybe think the best of his father and maybe not know everything because he's not at all involved with the company,
right? And he may be protecting him and not wanting him to know everything too. I mean, somebody can be a horrible, awful person and still be a good father, I guess. And I mean, well, if they're doing all that, I don't know that they're a great father, but you know what I mean. He could love his son and still be a bad guy. So yeah, it's hard to tell. But but I like where it's going. I was going to say, do you have any predictions? My only prediction I have is we didn't talk about her. Yeah. So he calls her, or no, she calls him, right? Or does he call her? I can't remember.
He calls her and he calls her. I think he asks her to run the criminal profiles of these guys, right? I think she runs their
out when she finds out about Quinn, but he basically hangs up on her. He's like, you can't get a hold of me. And he doesn't want her to get hurt.
Given that this is not a shot from the first 3 episodes, I believe we're going to see more of her.
That is true. I would agree with that. I mean, I kind of figure we will anyway, because she was from last season. So we'll probably
I think she's a fixture maybe in all of these books. I have not read any of the books.
But I haven't either.
I think she's so I mean, I predict that she is going to come down there and help Reacher crack some heads. How do you like Duffy, the dynamic with Duffy?
That was my other, I was going to say, that's my prediction. I think they're going to sleep together. That's my prediction. Because there's always somebody Reacher's sleeping with in the show. Yeah. So that's kind of obviously there's going to be some kind of romance or sexual relationship or something on the horizon, I'd say, between them.
Yeah.
I like the relationship. I mean, I don't know that it's necessary, but that's Reacher. So,
well, I mean, he always has to have some local law enforcement that he's working with in every season, right? So this is it. I don't know that I see this going to them having sex. I mean, last season, like that was unresolved business between the two of them for like 20 years before they had sex, right? I mean, they obviously really had liked each other for a long time. and it finally consummated this like long simmering thing, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just from the beginning figured that's where it was headed. I could be completely wrong. And again, I don't know that it's necessary. I just figured that's where it was going.
I don't think, I mean, I personally don't think it's necessary for him to always have to, for if there's a woman, he has to have sex with her. But I also don't know how these books go, right? And maybe in every book he like has a woman that he like hooks up with or whatever. I don't know, right? So I don't know if I see it going there. I mean, I like their dynamic. I don't, her accent is terrible. I find her accent to be really distracting. I don't know. It's supposed to be like a Boston accent, right? And I find it a little overpowering and distracting. I haven't been in Boston in a while. Maybe if I went there, I would find all the people there distracting with their accents. I don't, but I think maybe they should have not asked this actress to do that and let her just have a whatever her regular accent.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't bother me, but I'm not really good at knowing accents, so I'm not the right person.
Well, Sonia Cassidy, the actress who plays Duffy, is British. So it's definitely not her real, it's not her natural accent, right? So they're asking her to put on an American accent, and they're asking her to put on this New Englandy. They're supposed to be in Maine, right? It's supposed to be in Maine where this is happening. So they're asking her to put
something like that. Yeah,
they're going to put on this New England accent, and to me, it's a distraction. And I wish they had not done that and let her just do whatever kind of American accent. I like Villanueva also.
Yeah, I'd like to see more of him and the other guy that I've forgotten his name. Apology.
Elliot?
Yeah, Elliot.
Yeah.
I like them. I think it's funny they have that other guy. He's just kind of like they're holding him indefinitely.
Yeah. He's going to get away. I mean,
probably.
He's definitely going to get away. I thought he was going to get away when he like cracked his head and started to bleed and was trying to get himself untied. But you might have noticed after Elliot like says like, "Oh, I know what you're trying to do. It's not going to work," and he walks away and he leaves the open bottle. Did you see the way that guy was eyeballing the open bottle of rubbing alcohol sitting on the table?
Yeah, he'll do something with it. I agree. He's probably going to get away, and then they'll have to go chase him. Or worse yet, he'll go to Beck or Quinn and make things even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that. I also kind of predict maybe. So there's this scene where Richard is like complaining about his father, like controlling every aspect of his life. And Reacher says, "Hey, look, if you want to like hit the road and live like me, I can help you with that. I can help you get away. I can help you learn how to live on your own, but you got to give me some information first." And I think maybe we're going to see that at the end. Like he's going to help this kid to like get it, be a little stronger and go live on his own. Either that or he's going to have this help reconcile with his father.
Yeah, one or the other. But I definitely think that in the end, he's going to help that kid one way or another. I think that's, I would agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are my predictions for now. I find that Reacher, at least in the previous 2 seasons, the storyline changes so much. Like what you think is the crime and the criminal enterprise that's happening, it changes dramatically. So I don't think we should try to predict right now. Yeah, I mean, no, I think we should. We can try to predict, and then we'll have to re-predict something different next week.
Yeah. Are they're dropping like one a week now, right?
Yes, one a week now.
Okay, that's what I figured. All right.
Yeah.
This is season 3. Why is it showing that? All right. So yeah, the next one drops in 2 days. I was just looking to say. Yeah, and there is 8. Okay, that's what I wondered. I wondered if I had the whole season. I do. I don't need to watch ahead, but I just was curious. There's 8 episodes. So
great.
Yeah, we'll have a bit to talk about. But at least we got another show to watch, another show to talk about. I think AJ would maybe like it if he'd watch it, but I know we watch a lot, so
yeah, and we have some new stuff coming back soon. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I suggest if you haven't seen it, people should try it. You might like it. It's a fun show. And it's funny too. A lot of times it's really funny. Alan Richardson's funny.
Reacher says some funny things.
Yeah.
Like when Beck says like, oh, when Richard Beck, when Reacher is rescuing the kid, and the kidnapper turns out to be Richard's bodyguard, right? Or the fake kidnapper. Reacher says, "Tell your dad to hire a better one next time."
Yeah, I love that.
Right? Or he says all these funny things all the time. He says like, he's so deadpan with his little comments.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah,
he's always
and Alan Richardson is a likable presence on screen.
He is. Yeah,
he's a good Reacher.
Yeah, he is. I would agree with that. All right. Well,
all right.
That's it for Reacher. I don't know if anybody's even listening to us at this point. Maybe people aren't watching Reacher. I don't know, because those are both Twitch people. They might be spammy people. We hope you're real people, but
it's not the kind of thing that we cover on this show, and we might.
No, it's not. There's not a lot going on, and it's a fun show. And I think when we do it weekly, we're not going to take that long because we obviously went over 3 episodes.
This was 3 episodes, yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. So then I guess the only other thing is I do want to announce again. Well, first I want to say, please like and subscribe to the channel. But also, again, we have Mark Geller coming on at 7 p.m. Eastern on Thursday to talk about Severance. So yeah, and if you send us your questions.
Yeah. And well, Mark Geller is not a household name. He plays Keir Egan.
So he's not necessarily been in it a lot, but you see his face a lot. I guess that's the way to describe it. So yeah, maybe he can at least give us some insight into what he's been told about Kieran. I know since it's not the end of the season, he can't necessarily say a lot, but who knows? Maybe we'll get questions after the fact. We'll have to see how it goes, but I think that will be fun. And then, of course, we have our regular Severance show Saturday, and Yellow Jackets is on Sunday. You can always, of course, get those schedules either in Discord, which the link is in the chat, or in on the other social media stuff. Then we also soon have Wheel of Time coming up. When does that start?
In March.
In March. Okay.
Yeah, I forget what the exact date is, but we've got Daredevil Born Again starts on next Wednesday.
Oh, good.
Okay.
That's great.
That's cool.
Actually, Jamie, if you watched, so I know AJ, you just said that you always turn off at the end of the show and don't watch the credits. But at the end of episode 3 of Reacher, there was an extended clip from the Wheel of Time. Did you watch it, Jamie?
No, I did not. I didn't watch it. This is on during Reacher. You said this is at the end of Reacher.
At the end of Reacher, episode 3, they played this like. It was long. It was like 10 or 15 minutes long.
Damn. That ain't a trailer. That's a sneak peek.
Yeah, it was a real sneak peek. Yeah. And it was quite something to see. March 13th is when it comes out. So we have a couple weeks left. It was a really extended long. It might be out there somewhere. It actually was almost too much it's such a big thing that I was like, wow, well, if this huge thing they chose to air, like what other huge things are coming, right? Like they don't consider
was it like the first 10 minutes of the first episode?
Probably. It probably was the first 10 minutes of the first episode. It's like a big bang.
God damn it.
It's like a big bang and it's a big fight.
So I just went on IMDb to see the release date and you beat me to it. But it looks like they're dropping 3 episodes.
So I guess it was a clip from one of those 3 episodes.
But my point is, I mean, we'll worry about it when we get to it, I guess, but maybe we'll do the first 2, and then the second week we'll do episodes 3 and 4, or we could try and do all 3 the first week. It depends on what else we got going on.
Also depends, I think, how involved they are. We'll know a little bit more when we get closer.
Yeah, it's true, too.
And then also the second is when 9 Bodies in a Mexican Morgue starts. If people want to see that on MGM, I suggest you watch it. I really like it. I'm waiting to see the John
we watch
Edwards.
everything.
No, I like it. And again, it's not sci-fi or anything, but it's really good. And it's the guy who wrote it, Anthony Horowitz. He's written a lot of mystery novels, so it's good. I mean, like I keep saying, it's kind of like a 10 Little Indian thing. It's like there's a lot of plane crash shows like that. I feel like because I've been watching Yellow Jackets too, but it's about a plane crash and each of the people start dying, and you got to try to figure out who the culprit is. And there's Eric McCormick. I don't know. I liked it. I'm liking it. I haven't seen it all yet.
Right.
I really
it's
like
not
it.
really the kind of thing that I
No, it's not usually the stuff we
watch.
cover, but neither is Reacher, to be fair.
Yeah.
All
right.
But yeah, I think if you like mystery, you'll like it. So because I got to get up early for those interviews tomorrow. But yeah, what else? I'm trying to think. I have a lot of interviews I feel like coming up that need to be put up. Some are reality TV, some are not. I still have more surface. Yeah, lots of stuff coming up. So just, as I always say, check scifivision.com for everything. But things are I'm a little behind on things because I am trying to move the site to a server and having a lot of issues with that, which is a long, annoying story that nobody wants to hear. But getting what I can get and getting it up. And we also, as I said before, we do have 2 Yellow Jackets guests that are going to be coming on the show soon, within the coming weeks. And still waiting to hear back on timing for that other Severance interview. But yeah, looking at a lot of different stuff coming up. So, but yeah.
Okay.
That's
Great.
it.
All right.
Guys, well, have a good night, and thank you everybody who either listen to this live or comes back and listens to it after. We appreciate the support, and
Yep. And
Right.
I'll see you on Thursday, Jamie.
Yep.
Have a good week, everyone.
You too.
Okay.
Good night, AJ. Good night, Jamie. Good night,
Night.
friends. Bye.
Bye. Good night.